Yo guys, Hollywood here to talk about Black Iron Racing and GXCC. The reason we're doing this is just to give you guys some highlights and some clarification on what has been going down. If you weren't there at the GXCC prize giving this weekend, you won't have known that the big announcement came that GXCC has now been sold to Black Iron. And the whole idea of this video is just to give you guys an idea of what's going to stay the same, and more importantly, just to make you guys cool about the fact that GXCC continues its business as normal. So the build up to this situation was the fact that in the recent months, it's been announced that Lawrence Mahoney has been taken over as the marketing manager for KTM South Africa. Now that's a massive job, and we couldn't be more happy for him and more proud of him for taking over this role. Of course, that meant that there was going to be a gap to be filled at GXCCs, knowing that each round of the GXCCs takes between 3 and 3.5 weeks to put together and tear down. And that's not counting all the marketing and behind the scenes admin that happens in between each of the events at the beginning of the season and of course at the end of the season. So we knew, and it was one of the worst kept secrets in motorsport, that GXCCs was going to be up for sale. Now, with me being on the ground there, obviously everyone's going to be asking me, and I knew there were a couple of vendors in the play to try and go ahead and obviously take over the running of it. And it was simply to carry on the race format. As the weeks progressed, it turned out there was going to be 1 or 2 key players, and then last week it certainly looked like it was going to be the one. And it was Black Iron Racing. They put their hand up, and they've been in conference and they've been in negotiations with the GXCC management for the last couple of weeks, and it was announced officially on Saturday night at the GXCC prize giving that they would be the new owners. So let's just clarify. It will now be for 2020 GXCC Racing powered by Black Iron. Everyone was going to ask me the first question. That was going to be, who's going to lay out the tracks? For the last 4 years, Lawrence has been out there every weekend, every day, knocking the pins, but also he's been developing a crew as well. He didn't want to be a one-man band, and fair play as well. You want some help along the way. So he's actually developed a core crew of workers that go out with him at every single track and help put the tracks together. And obviously they've learnt how to get the tracks marked. But there's always one man that steers the ship, and that was obviously Lawrence. Now going forward into the Black Iron Racing squad, everyone asks the questions, who's going to check out the track? Doesn't matter who's going to mark it, who's going to cut the grass, who is going to lay out the track? That man is going to be Vian du Plessis. Now, Vian's been racing with us for 13 seasons. He's got a really good eye, and not only that, he's been racing the GXCCs along with the Impy, the Roof, and the National Championships, including the Desert. So believe me, he's been out there with you guys on the last 13 seasons and has developed along with the sport. So he knows how to lay out a full race route and, more importantly, a fully safe racetrack. He's got his daughter racing as well, so he's not going to take his eye off the ball on the juniors. And of course, for the quads, they obviously need the same marking, and if not more marking than the bikes do as well. Bikes run a skinny track and quads run an open track. So for the quads, juniors and the motorcycle riders, this is the man that is going to be looking after us as far as the track layout goes. Not just that, Lawrence has committed that he's going to assist where he can, of course, with his schedule from KTM South Africa to make sure the track is on point. And this 2020 will essentially be known as the handover season. So there's going to be a lot of help and a lot of hand holding, but it's Vian from Black Iron Racing who is going to be laying out the tracks. Behind the scenes as well, as far as admin goes, we're not going to be losing Marilyn. Marilyn is still going to be on point. She's going to be doing a lot of the handovers. She's doing a lot of liaison work between the current sponsors, and hopefully there's going to be a handover of sponsorship and partners that have worked with the GXCC management for the last couple of seasons. And there's going to be a negotiation period for the next couple of weeks to hopefully get those guys on board and potentially bring on new sponsors as well. We're maybe going to see Marilyn at the events as well, but she's certainly going to be a key behind the scenes player, and she wants to make sure that the handover runs smooth for the admin side of GXCCs. So there's that. Then there's the race format. So the race format has been polished and dialed in for the last couple of seasons to the point of, as far as I'm concerned, near perfection. With the juniors and the quads running in the morning session, the juniors on a 2-hour race format and the quads on the main loop for a 3-hour racing format. And then normally the time bar comes into play after those 3 hours almost seamlessly, with our quads finishing their event, and then at the 12 o'clock or 11:30, whichever it marks, that will be our senior motorcycle events going on and going forwards. GXCCs will still make up rounds of the regional championship and rounds of the club championship. So as far as the MSA affiliation goes, GXCCs is still the events that you guys need to race to qualify for your regional championships and your regional points, as well as your club series. As far as that dude on the mic, I'm still going to be on the mic for you guys at the GXCCs. GXCCs for me is a massive family, and really for the last 4 years and before that the GOCs. I think I've been on the tour for more than 10 years, and I'm very excited to say that I will definitely be on the start line with you guys, making sure you guys get all the big high fives and be there to celebrate at the finish line when all of you guys cross the stripes. So the period that we're coming into now is obviously the handover period, making sure everything is good to go. As far as the venues go, we are going to be using some of the venues that we have used for the last couple of seasons. The great part of the handover fact is we get the introduction and the golden handshake from Lawrence and his crew and the farmers and the land that has been used through the last couple of seasons. Obviously, the look to the future is to find some new venues, and that's certainly going to be addressed through the 2020 season. But for now, we're going to work with a lot of the landowners and the farmers that have assisted us for the last 4 years of the events. As far as the media side goes, there will be some more announcements coming out in the future, but the idea is to up the level of media for 2020 as well. For now, we're getting ourselves ready to obviously go into discussions and negotiations with MSA, that is Motorsport South Africa. It's a tiered situation, so let me just explain that to you guys back out there in television land and internet land. So MSA obviously are going to be putting out their dates quite soon for the national tours. We've already seen a lot of the dates come in for our Enduro tours, which sounds like it's going to be an 8 split with 4 Enduro and 4 Extreme Enduros. And as soon as the dates come in for the rounds of the National Championship Off-Road Tour that run national status, then we'll be allowed to look at the calendar and see where the gaps are for regional and club level. So it's very important for us at the moment to get those dates, and as soon as we can get them in, we will get them to you guys and hopefully get the calendar nice and full. Looks like it's going to be a super busy calendar for 2020, and we're just excited. So Black Iron powering the GXCC Tour for 2020. As far as the racing goes, nothing will change. We want to make you guys feel super comfortable as always as we roll forward for GXCC racing into magical year number 5. For now, that's it. Just a little video to fill in some of the gaps. And if you guys need to ask us any more questions, please feel free to send me an email. I'll forward it to the GXCC and Black Iron Racing Management, and we will feed that information back to you. But as we get new information, we will obviously be delivering it using the Hollywood Hills format for now. All right, guys, that's it for now. We'll see you on the line in 2020, and I hope I've gone some way to fill in some of the gaps and make you guys feel cool about 2020. Cheers.